it seemed like you kind of lumped Israel's into or Israeli, sorry, into one bucket rather than seeing that they didn't a lot of them didn't choose to be there. It's a
Can I ask you a
multi-generational
question? Can I ask you a
area.
question really quickly?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Was it when I had uh, Jewish anti-Zionist historian Zach Foster on, or was it when I had Israeli uh, Knesset member Ofer Kasif on, when or numerous other, or even conscientious objector to the IDF, Israeli Jewish Israeli Talmudnik on, where you got the idea that I was never taught, that I was not exhibiting the diversity of thought within Israel. Something that, imagine if someone says what you says about the left. Many far left sound as silly as far right. Great, dude. Tell me what you mean. We found one. We got him. Okay, we got one. I fished, and someone took the fucking bait, and now I'm reeling this motherfucker in. Give me an example, dog. I want you to have health care. I want you to be able to go to fucking college, okay? I don't want you to have medical debt. I want the goddamn fucking potholes to be fixed on the goddamn roads. I want you to have better internet. I want you to have better infrastructure. I want you to be able to go to a fucking meaningful job every goddamn day and know that you can retire at a reasonable age. I want you to be able to own a fucking home. Now tell me which one of those you hate. Okay? Which one of those do you hate, and how can you compare that? E.g., the earth ends in 10 tiers. I'm more legit than you. I'm Dutch. What? Dog. I'm not kidding when I say Dutch engineering is probably going to cause this fucking idiot to survive the climate holocaust. Okay? And that fucking sucks. These motherfuckers have already literally built their infrastructure specifically against rising sea levels. And this fucking idiot is benefiting from that while simultaneously being like, climate change, the world's going to end in 10 years. Oh, sure. That's a crazy statement. First of all, the world is not going to fucking end in the next 10 years, you absolute donkey. Okay? No one is saying that. They're saying anthropogenic, like you did it. You did the thing. You literally just did the thing. You did the thing that I was talking about. You said the scientific consensus on anthropogenic climate change is actually insane to say. That's crazy. That's a crazy. Do you not understand? You're doing the thing. Nah, bro, you paying him. Remember what I said when I began this conversation? I said so much of the right-wing issues are just they directly stem from a fucking misunderstanding, just a lack of knowledge, basic word comprehension. Okay? Some far left say it ends. No, they don't. No, they don't. At most, you heard one fucking exaggeration and you literally lasered in on it. And then you are still saying, I believe in climate change, but it's not going to end. That's what I fucking say. So frustrating. It's not even a political position. He's just debating science. Yeah, he's doing the cowardly thing. He's doing the cowardly thing where he's like, I believe in this, but I think you're wrong. Like, I believe in this, but I found like I'm more left than you. I just won't call far right idiots. Also, you're Dutch, okay? Like, don't try to fucking enter this conversation that I'm having about my fucking goddamn neighbors being brain broken. Okay? Imagine being Dutch and being like, "Well, I'm a Dutch leftist, and your statements about MAGA is actually really fucked up. Remember what I used to tell the European chatters. Remember, European chatters will come in here and be like, "Oh, you're American, so stupid. What's up with that?" And I told them, "Wait, motherfucker, wait. You take for granted your social safety nets. Just fucking wait till this kind of brain rot comes knocking down your fucking door." And that's exactly what happened in Europe. And it happened already. It happened. It's happening every fucking day. You got reform in the UK. You got fucking Maloney's dipshits in Italy, even though apparently she's based now on Israel, which is weird, but that's besides the point. You got the nationalists in fucking France. You got the AfD in Germany. You have it. You have it in your backyard now. And you got Geert Wilders. He's not half Nazi. He's full Nazi. That's what I'm saying. You're fucked. We haben ein big problem. Sit on the cuck chair and enjoy the fucking show, dumbass. Yeah, I'm fluent in fucking Dutch. Absolute Katastrophe. We have ein grote Problem. we we have an in serious problem. Hassan, why are you doing this today? No time for coverage, but endless time for this shit. What are you talking about, dude? I'm on my 7th fucking hour of this broadcast. I'm about to end it in a little bit. And I spent the entire fucking day interviewing journalists. And also on top of that, covering Yahya Sinwar. What do you mean? What do you want from me? The fuck do you want from me? 29-month subscriber? What else can I do? What else? We haben ein serious Problem mit der Politik und wir Kellegen. This guy wants to get a star. Fuck this dude. I said I would. I said I would invite him. I wanna examine his brain. He went through his point by point using clips to show how you knew he was a Houthi and that you're intentionally lying about it. That's why these people are mad, law. No, I thought he was a Houthi. I don't have a problem interviewing a Houthi rebel directly. Okay? I don't. I don't even think that at the time it was a designated terror group. Regardless, that doesn't really matter. People are just fucking jumping on that. Would you interview someone in the IDF? Yes, of course. I have. What the fuck? I have. I've interviewed conscientious objectors and people who have served in the IDF. What are you talking about? Hello? Yes. What are you talking about? I said it, but I also asked him, yeah, if he was a Houthi in the interview. There's a... Guys, here, where is it? No one served in the IDF. What are you talking about? I have been more charitable and more friendly to people who have served in the IDF. I have use the writings of people who have served in the IDF. Breaking the Silence is quite literally an entire organization of people who've served in the IDF. What the fuck are you guys talking about? Tal was an objector. I know. I'm saying, oh my God. Guys, I had to re-download Discord because my driver's fucked up. What do I need to guest star? You don't need Discord to guest star. You just do it through fucking this. You do it through Twitch. I just gave you a call. You just have to pick up. Hello. Hello.
Sorry, hold on. One second. 1 second. I'm getting double audio.
Okay, you're getting double audio because my stream is on. And secondly, you do not sound like you just got off of a motherfucking treadmill. Okay, Schlibbibler. Turn on your camera right now.
I don't. I guess I could. I would have to bring it over. I don't like. I'm on my PC desktop. I'm not.
You went from the treadmill to your fucking Now he's breathing. Now he's breathing heavily. It's like when I called Cutie Cinderella. When I called Cutie Cinderella.
Dude, I sat down for like 30 seconds. What do you want out of me, man?
I'm so
walking
tired.
I have a standing. I'm not walking 4 miles an hour. It's like a 1.8.
I'm so tired.
I'm walking a 1.8 for about like 3-4 hours. Okay.
Hold on. Let me see if I can lower your volume. It's really loud. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I can move my mic away too.
No. It's fine. You can speak in the same volume. It's fine. I can lower it here.
Right,
All right.
I'll leave my mic at the same distance. Is this okay?
Didn't you interview this guy last year? No, this is not the same guy. This is a different guy.
I have never talked to you in my life.
Yeah. Okay. All right. 43 most subscriber. Make your case. Yeah, Ofer Kassif served in the IDF. That's what I was talking about.
It's so okay. Look, man, I'm not coming at you from like a weird Klimchimp ass perspective, so I don't have like hard evidence of like the exact streams that you covered and what you said during them, like on October 7th a year ago. Here's what I will say though. I just feel that like when October 7th happened, during the first like I'd say like 6 months, um, I I feel like you didn't really recognize that like a lot of the people that were there um didn't choose to be there. And
What do you
it
mean?
seemed in a lot of your sorry, what?
What do you mean by that? A lot of people that were where didn't choose to be there.
In Israel. Sorry, in Israel, it seemed like it seemed like you kind of lumped Israelis, sorry, into one bucket rather than seeing that like, they didn't a lot of them didn't choose to be there. It's a multi-generational.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question really quickly?
Yeah.
Was it when I had Jewish anti-Zionist historian Zach Foster on, or was it when I had Israeli Knesset member Ofer Kassif on, or numerous other, or even conscientious objector to the IDF, Jewish Israeli Talmidnik on, where you got the idea that I was never taught, that I was not exhibiting the diversity of thought within Israel, something that many people even like made jokes about and still do to this day, about how I have captured the attention of all 8 of the Israeli left, the anti-Zionist left.
Does that not kind of seem like a gish gallop to you?
A gish gallop? I just gave you 3 examples. Well, 2 that are directly relevant that address your point of view. I talked to Dr. Ofer Kassif literally like I think 4 or 5 days after October 7. He was one of the first interviews that I conducted to showcase to my audience that Israel was not of one mind. This is not a gish gallop. This is just giving you direct evidence that contradicts your main thesis.
Okay. Maybe I don't get how that relates to my thesis. Could you walk me through that?
Yes. Easily. You made the claim that in the first 6 months during in the aftermath of October 7, that I was creating this understanding that Israel was a monolithic force and everyone in Israeli society was of one mind. As a matter, and I'm showing you direct evidence to the contrary. One of the first things that I did post October 7 was to interview a member of the actual Knesset, like the Israeli Knesset, who is an anti-Zionist. Don't you think that that directly contradicts your main thesis that I was personally invested in presenting a false narrative that all Israelis, I made it seem like all Israelis are of one mind?
So I would say that, let's say I throw one white bean in an entire bin of black beans. Does that make it a white bean salad?
What? I mean,
I don't mean
wait.
sorry. Let me change the colors there. Red versus green, whatever. It doesn't matter. But you know,
Okay. Okay. I don't think you understand. Me interviewing a member of the Israeli Knesset is not just like a random instance. It's one of the examples that disproves your point. I gave you multiple examples. I do not know how we can set the boundaries of how I could have massaged this in a direction that you're more understanding of, considering that throughout that same time frame, I covered Israeli protests. I covered the attitude that Israelis had towards Benjamin Netanyahu within the same framework of still wanting to maintain a war in Gaza, because I was not going to lie. There was direct evidence in the form of polling that was being conducted in Israel at the time that showcased the Israeli attitude towards the bombing campaigns in Gaza.
can you do me a favor and talk about maybe the opposite, right? Because like I think that you are fairly centrist on this matter now, which I do
No,
appreciate.
I'm
But
not. My
like,
position on this has not changed at all. I think that genocide and
and
apartheid is completely unconscionable. It is completely immoral, and it can only be
let,
packaged to a broad audience that is receptive to such violence by consistent and steady social conditioning in the form of dehumanizing propaganda. I have never been a
can I
centrist on this matter, and I have not been a centrist since October 7. I have not been a centrist since far before October 7. My opinion on this matter didn't shift. I think your understanding of Israel's actions might have changed a little bit. Your perception of my coverage changed. You became more receptive to my coverage of it. If
Thank
you
you,
would like to
Noah.
can
find
I
out more,
rephrase
I
what?
don't know if you were here at the time, but you can go back to this interview that I conducted on October 21st. I believe we uploaded on October 22nd to develop a better understanding of the framework that I was operating on, which is no different than the framework that I'm operating on currently. It's an hour long. It's a little bit more condensed, but this could perhaps help you fully comprehend where I was coming from back then.
Can I rephrase what I said? Maybe
Okay. If you go back to
I think you
legumes,
have a
though,
more
we're not going to be
humanist
able to have a
perspective.
productive conversation.
Well, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that obtuse of a rephrasing. I just think that you have a more humanist perspective on the Israelis now, because I felt like in the beginning, the you painted with more of a broad brush, in that they were all bad. I
Why do you think that I wasn't having? Can you give me examples? I've given you examples to disprove your point. Can you give me examples to prove your point, so we're not just
well,
operating off of your feelings? Because I can't disprove your feelings. It's just your
I
feelings.
can. Okay, the only hardcore example. Sorry, hold on one sec. Sorry, give me one quick second. I have to read something. Um, sorry, my fiance wanted to ask about something, but
Flex,
uh,
weird flex, but okay.
I well, I don't. Dude, I don't. I'm a
I'm
normal
fucking
fucking
with you,
person,
dude.
man.
Come on, give me an
what,
example.
what do you want me to say about it? I don't fucking know.
I'm
Um,
I'm I'm messing with you. I'm trying to,
all right.
this is not like a hostile conversation. So, can
I
you give
hope
me an
not.
example of what led you to believe that I had a monolithic approach to Israeli society in the first 6 months?
So okay. Unfortunately, like it's something that was kind of like validated through the Ethan stream, but like it is something that I felt, and like I don't know. I have said if you
Why
look through my chat
unfortunately?
logs, like
Well,
it's
no, no,
stuff that
stand
I've
by your
chirped about.
convictions. There, it's not unfortunate. If you feel that
Well,
way, then you feel that way. But
I
but you can at least use some of the examples if that's your feeling, right? Like, can you give me
yeah,
an example?
yeah, well, yeah. So if you'd let me finish my point, um, what I'm saying is I think that the Timothy Chalamet thing, um, that left like a really bad taste in my mouth, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It just felt
Can you tell me
super
why?
weird. Because even during the interview, like I don't know if you're gonna acknowledge it, but like you even felt fucking weird, man. That shit seemed very odd. I don't know. Like the whole thing just felt really off. Um, it was
No, no, no,
because like
no, no. I
you
asked
you even
you.
said
No,
like
I
he was
I didn't
super.
ask you for vibes. Come on, we can be serious.
Oh,
I didn't ask you for vibes. You said that I gave you examples of my coverage on both sides of this otherwise one-sided genocide, right?
it is a one-sided
And
genocide. I do want
what
to agree. I want to agree with you there. Sorry to interrupt.
yeah, I didn't even assume that you didn't agree with me. You agree with me that it's a genocide. You agree with me that Israel's an apartheid state, right? Like I don't even think that
Yeah,
that's a
absolutely.
question. Yeah, great.
And I have friends there for the record. Like I've been to weddings in Israel. Like I love people in Israel.
Okay.
Like they're very close
So
to
the
me.
original point that you made, was that in the first 6 months of my coverage, you felt like I was being insensitive, that you felt like I was uh, basically saying that Israel is a monolith. And I asked you for examples. And
I
instead of examples, you moved on to the interview that I conducted with Rashid, the
sorry.
teenager from Yemen. So, question for
I want
you.
to highlight that. Sorry, I have something I can say. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Okay, go ahead. No, no,
So I
it's
want to
fine.
highlight something that I didn't hear from you, rather than something that I did. Um, I know that's a little obtuse. I apologize. Sorry, but I didn't hear that the Israelis may not all accept the government that they are under. That's not really something that you started addressing until much later in the conflict.
Yeah, you're
And
wrong.
that really,
No, you're wrong.
please tell me why and when.
Because on numerous occasions, including the one that is not, including the example that I gave you, which is the interview I conducted on October 22nd, which I think fits that time frame, and numerous instances before and numerous instances after, I talked about the diversity of opinion within Israel regularly. The reason why I'm pointing to this interview in particular is because it's one of the first interviews I conducted, and it happened to be someone who is directly in the Israeli Knesset. Not only that, but immediately on October 8 or 9, one of the first instances of my coverage featured victims on October 7 from the kibbutz Be'eri. Okay? They had been transported to a hotel in the Red Sea. And I still remember it vividly. One of the victims, I believe she was a young woman who had more sympathy for the Palestinians even then, even after being a victim of this Palestinian resistance militia, like watching people get killed, still showed so much sympathy, so much empathy for the Palestinians on the other side of the Gaza boundary. That was, I think, literally the first day. I think it was on October 8th. And there has never been a moment where I have not shown that there are absolutely people of different mind in Israel, including, but not limited to, like I said, conscientious objectors, famous, notable Israeli scholars and historians. But beyond that, Haaretz writers, 972 magazine and local call magazine investigative reporters, people who are even liberal Zionists, the group called Standing Together, Omdim Beyachad, There are numerous examples that I have used to showcase the diversity of Israeli thought surrounding this issue. Some of the people that I've brought forward, I did not agree with. Some of the people that I brought forward, I did agree with. But it doesn't matter. This directly contradicts the statement that you're making.
I would like to make a little counterpoint. And like, if you don't agree, then like, I'm sorry, man. I don't have, I didn't come here with like timestamps and shit like that. But just hear me out, all right?
Oh, no, I am hearing you out. Here's a tweet also from May 21st,
I
2021. Stop conflating
hold
Jews
on.
are
I'm
all
not.
stop conflating
I
Jews
don't
all
have your
around the
screen.
world with the horrific
I don't
violent
have your
Israeli
screen up.
occupation. You are being anti-Semitic when you claim that all Jews are a monolith in their unconditional support for a far-right, ultranationalist, ethno-state government engaging in war crimes. There has never been a moment in my commentary which is informed by
Wait.
Jewish
Oh shit.
Israeli
Hold on. Sorry.
scholars
Wait.
that where I have
Fuck. I can't.
made.
There's no way I can open your stream and see your stream.
No,
Sorry.
it's fine. I'm just telling you. I'm telling you that there has never been a moment. The reason why it's very easy for me to point to this stuff is not because like chat is also chat was also here and heard me say these things, but the reason
Man,
why
I was
the reason why I can
sorry.
directly contradict the things that you were saying is because that is not my worldview. And because it's not my worldview, that is the reason why I can very easily recall events from
Hold on.
back then.
Sorry.
Here's my tweet from October 14th. I hope that those in the Western world
can't
can
see it,
demonstrate
man.
a moment of self-reflection and have an ounce of the moral clarity of this 19-year-old victim who experienced the massacre in Kibbutz Be'eri. The person that originally posted this interview is Benzion Sanders. He is a part of the IDF, or was a part of the IDF, and was one of, I believe, the founding members of the veterans group that is against the Israeli occupation. I'm forgetting the name of it now. But go on. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Sorry. Can I stop you for a sec here? Yeah. Sorry, but you're giving me a lot of examples of specific things that counter my point. To which I would say, yes, those are absolutely valid, right? But what you will not acknowledge and you will not cover are all the times that which this is stupid. I'm sorry. I didn't come here ready to debate you, man. But
No, but you have strong
what
feelings, so I assume that you have something that
yes, I
has
have
primed you
strong
into
feelings.
feeling this way.
Yes, and I have strong feeling. Yeah, but you're like, no, don't base it off vibes. But it's like, yeah, man, I didn't fucking type out on a goddamn spreadsheet like all the times you pissed me off, you know?
Okay, but like you can, I hope, at least recall something that primed you into this position.
So here's what I would say is that you're calling out the times where you interviewed specific people. What you're not talking about are all the times maybe like you could empathize with my position to where it's like, maybe I didn't exactly call out the Israeli people as, being completely humanistic from my perspective or something,
Wait,
right?
what? Okay. No. Your
Sorry.
argument is that your original argument was that I did not show a diversity of thought within Israel in the first 6 months, and that I only started covering Israel from a more humanistic perspective in the last 6 months.
I wouldn't say last. Well, I don't have an exact date, but like,
well,
sure,
regardless,
let's say last 6 months.
and I've given you only examples from early October, right? Early October,
Yeah.
showcasing the many instances, and I'm willing to bet that I
Hold
could
on,
go to the
Hassan,
VODs.
wait a minute.
I'm willing to bet, hold on, that I could go to every single VOD from October 8, because I wasn't live on October 7, October 8, every single day for the 6 months, the first 6 months of the coverage, and find at least one, if not multiple instances where I have talked about the difference in opinion inside of Israel, that not every single Israeli is full tilt, hell bent on conducting a genocide that their government is conducting. Even in instances where polling data makes it seem like the overwhelming majority of Israeli Jews, a designation not that I have made because I think it's a gross designation, but a demographic designation that the Israeli government makes as they separate Jew and Arab inside of Israel.
I know it's gross.
Yes.
Sorry.
Regardless, I mean, it's an apartheid. Of course, it's gross. So polling is conducted or was conducted routinely, virtually every single day, if not weekly, during the month of October and onward, where the Jewish demographic of Israeli citizens, by 60% margins, saw the Israeli military conduct as appropriate or demanded more of it, like more violence, more bloodshed. And even then, I talked specifically about how there were still people who disagreed with that. And I can tell you right now, with a certainty, that I have covered that virtually every single day. I'm willing to bet that I have brought this forward. Anytime I've mentioned Israel, I have talked about this every single day for the first 6 months. So my question for you is this. In spite of all of that, why do you still feel this way? Or will this change your mind?
I mean, first off, like it's really hard to change someone's mind of the past, I suppose, or like their experience of it. So, I don't know. I mean, like again, I agree with how you're covering it now. I think it's sorry. I'm sorry I said centrist earlier. That was the wrong wording for it, but I feel like that you recognize the Jewish people for, not being happy with their government now. I just earlier I don't think that you did that. Um
Okay, but I'm giving
and
you
again, I
examples.
don't
But I
you're
am
giving me
giving you.
examples of hold on. You're giving me examples of like specific interviews you did, but like those are specific days, specific hours, right? But I'm talking about months. I'm not talking about hours.
What do you mean? Okay.
Like I'm talking so you have pretty okay, can you at least agree
I
with me
have
that you
not
have pretty much
changed. I'm going to tell you right now, and this is not even like me trying to argue against like what your vibes were about my coverage. It's more so, me trying to correct the record. My tone and my attitude and my coverage has not been different about Israel since the beginning of October till now. You have the opportunity right now, a unique opportunity that is not presented to anyone else when they make an argument such as this one, to be able to go back to every single VOD and go through them. Or even if you don't want to watch the VODs, you can watch the condensed version. I have probably churned out one video or a couple every single day from my coverage. I think that if you looked at it with a fresher perspective, the perspective that you have now, because you now say that I cover it more humanistically, okay, or more in a more humane fashion, if you were to go back and watch those VODs or watch any of those videos now with today's fresher perspective, I think you would recognize that my tone and my intentionality in the way that I speak and in the way that I've covered this has not changed even a little bit.
okay. I don't want to drag this out more than it has to. Let mm, you know what? Yeah, I don't want to drag this out more than it has to. I haven't looked at chat. I'm sure they're very mad.
Well, it doesn't matter. I'm the one. I'm the one who's controlling the conversation here. I'm the one who, uh, thought that this would be a potentially valuable conversation to have. So I just want to understand where you develop these vibes from, because
I
clearly you're a long term community subscriber.
out there, you know. I was worried about like I expected the Israeli government to go like extremely fucking hard right and like uh automatically like bring everyone back into conscription. So I was very fortunate that didn't happen, because I think that they're fucking insane. Netanyahu's a fucking maniac. But um, they were telling me it's just hard because they buy into the propaganda because they don't have access to much else, right? And that wasn't something that I heard covered a lot. It wasn't from the perspective of like, look, the Israelis are victims of their own government, as we are in America, right? Like, think of all the
That's
fucking
an
hogs in
interesting
the
position
South.
that you just brought forward. If only someone, I don't know, maybe his name is Hassan Piker, had made similar statements pretty early on and consistently throughout the first 6 months and the last 6 months as well. I don't know. I'm obviously being sarcastic. Like I said
I
those
know.
things, and I do say those things all the time. Actually,
I don't know. I don't.
is it? Does this
I'm not
shock
gonna
you?
listen to.
Does
I'm
that?
sorry, bro. I'm not gonna listen to the last 6 months of your fucking vods,
No,
man.
you
I
don't
got
have
shit to
to. You
do.
don't have to. You don't have to. But it is interesting to me that again you were primed into believing this position, and I'm trying to show you evidence of the contrary, and evidence of the contrary happens to be like my firmly held commitment to a humanitarian approach to this subject. So it's very easy for me to disprove the statements that you're making because it is not my worldview, right?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, of course. Go ahead.
How how do you think I fell into the position that I have as a non-Jew? By the way, like I grew up Lutheran. I'm from the fucking Midwest.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what your entire life history looks like. I don't know what's in your head. I don't know why I would like there is no way that I could accurately figure out what it is, especially when you've already like asked the question that was already primed with things that I don't believe, like with the suspicion that you think I argue for positions that I don't argue for.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't really
It
have
could
anywhere
be. It
else
could.
to
I
take this.
mean, I think you told me if I didn't misunderstand you. I think you said um, that the bad vibes came from your friends in Israel that thought that I was covering it in a very one sided manner, right?
Oh, no, 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 no. Trust me, I'm the furthest left out of all of my friends.
No, no, no.
they
I'm
they don't listen to you.
okay. I don't know. Then I don't know where I guess I misunderstood what you had said previously. Then, um, but I guess my question is like, did you watch a lot of my coverage in the early month of October? Maybe it was too traumatic for you. Maybe um, you felt a closeness to the issue, so you just like might have written me off.
I No, I felt like a bit like jaded after a few months. But no, at the beginning I was here and then I was listening, but then eventually I just felt like an impasse. Um, from what I was experiencing from my friends and what you were covering as a person,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of where I think it stems from.
Okay. Um, you just said you're way more to the left than your friends. I
I
uh
recognize they're fucking morons sometimes, though. I mean,
everyone I'm stupid too. Everyone has the capacity to be stupid. You also referred to your friends in Israel as like people who have like completely bought into the propaganda. It could
or
be that was your
you know,
blind spot. I don't know, maybe, but
well,
ultimately, if you want the truth, right? Because it seems like you care about the truth. Like
yeah.
you like debating, I suspect, because you arrive at the truth that way. So the question for you is: you've talked a lot about your feelings in terms of my coverage, like how you feel about my coverage. Do you think it's more productive for you to at least like go back and watch one video, if not two videos from early October with a fresh set of eyes after perhaps maybe 12 months of ongoing genocide where your opinion might have changed on the matter, especially when I tell you that my opinion hasn't? Maybe
I
you
do.
can maybe it could be a productive maybe it could be productive in like you self-examining how your thoughts might have changed over time.
I agree with I agree with that, and that's why I'm really grateful for the fan channels because they upload a lot of older stuff,
Yeah.
and it just kind of it pops up on my feed that way. But what I will say is that so their perspective was that like what do we do? Hamas are bombing hospitals with children in them. What are we supposed to do? And that was like I'm really being like reductive here, but that was essentially, like, the perspective that they had, and it's like, well, that's a hard position to be in. I recognize that that's a hard position to be in. I don't agree with the way the government went about it, and I recognize that, like you know what? Okay, here's something that I wish that would have been covered, is that the average age of both, the Palestinian and IDF soldiers are 18 or under. That's fucking crazy, man.
Okay. Whoa,
I was
whoa, whoa, whoa,
super
whoa, whoa, whoa. It's
reactionary at
not
that age.
the average age of the IDF is not 18 or under.
Or sorry, 18 to 20. Well, I mean, it's 18 to 20 because it's mandatory conscription, but like they're all young as fuck. Like, let's say 20 to 15. Like, I was reactionary as fuck during those 5 years.
Okay. That's fine. I'm not like I don't know what you're pointing to here in terms of like I my assessment of the situation does not change with this is not new information for me. My assessment of the situation
I
is not remotely remotely different. Um
I heard you cover a lot of like the Palestinians. The average age of a Palestinian soldier is like 15 to 18 or something like that. I
no, I
think,
said that the
but
average age of the Palestinian living in the Gaza Strip is under 18 and that the majority of the population there is under the age of 18. Having
okay.
said that, however, I do not know what the average age of the like Palestinian resistance fighters age is, but I don't think
Well,
that someone who is a part of a nuclear militarized state that gets every weapon known to man from the United States of America, that is currently conducting, forced conscription or not, currently conducting an ethnic cleansing campaign in Gaza to a person who has existed under that ethnic cleansing campaign and permanent occupation and an apartheid regime that was born into that, um, that that wants to resist against said occupation. I think it's not this is not a like morally neutral boundary here. I think that there is a difference. Here's our Israeli Jewish chatter. He says, "For what it's worth, chatter, I've been watching for a while, and I can say that I've never felt dehumanized by Hassan's rhetoric. Occasionally, when chatters have taken dehumanizing or weird lines towards Israelis generally, or me specifically, he would call them out and remind chat to take a serious systemic analysis of the conflict instead of childish generalizations. And I don't take that for granted during a genocide." And I know that there are plenty of other Israeli Jews in this chat that also feel the same way. I I perhaps, as a consequence of being both Turkish and American, understand the position of someone who is anti-imperialist in either of those countries, as I am anti-imperialist across the board. I can use my own lived experience as having an opinion like that in a country that is hyper militant and ultra nationalist like Turkey. Not to say that what Turkey's done to the Kurds is similar to what Israel's doing. I'm not, uh, I'm not casting a broad brush and saying that these are the same. However, I understand the vibes of people that live in Israel, perhaps even better than someone who lives in America. And the reason for that is because Turkey also is a very nationalistic country. And my opinions there would not fly in the same way that Israeli Jews living in Israel who are leftists, their opinions do not fly in normal Israeli society either. But that is part of the reason why I think you are incorrect in your vibes. I can't, stop you from feeling a certain way. I can only tell you where I'm coming from. And if you think that my commentary did not feature the Israeli perspective, you would be wrong.
it, I would really love to hear more about how being Turkish relate or if you could relate your experience of being from Turkey relates to being from Israel. Look,
Well,
I
I'll
don't
give
know.
you a, I'll give
I'm
you a
not
really
saying that as like a. I'm not saying that contentiously. I'm honestly saying that I think that
yeah.
would be like a valuable
I'll
perspective.
give you a really
No,
easy
I'm not
answer.
saying with me.
I'll
I'm
give you a really
saying
easy answer. I can't go back to Turkey.
okay.
I mean, my family still lives there. I can't go back to Turkey. Perhaps that will help shape your opinion a little bit better.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I've got some friends that are here in the U.S. that can't go back to Israel. Well, I mean, they probably could, but they shouldn't. I
Okay,
don't know if it's the same way
well,
for you.
that's a little different. No, I don't know. I don't know what your friends did in Israel, but my reasoning is that I can't because of the things that I have said about the Turkish government, things I've written about the Turkish government.
I will say when I went to Israel, they were extremely resilient about like what you said, how you feel about Israel, where you're going, the addresses you're going to, like everything. It's kind of nuts. But anyway, I literally do have to go, man. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I
I hope I was
appreciate your
able
time.
to help guide you through this process a little bit better. I hope you understand that
I
maybe you might have been a little misguided about my coverage.
I'm gonna go rewatch some of the fan channels videos, because they're great. Like HasanAbi Archive, they're really awesome. Really like them.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, uh, I'm gonna go rewatch some. I don't know. Maybe my opinions have changed over the years, but
I
I don't know.
think you
Please
will
don't ban
find
me.
yourself I think you will find yourself surprised if you go back and watch even you said you watched Ethan's coverage, right?
Yeah, of
Go
course. I mean, I
back.
watch H3 too.
Yeah, so that's here. That's a great starting point. In the early, I think it was in October, maybe a little bit after October. If you go back and watch the conversation, last conversation that I had with Ethan on my stream, okay, with
Mhm.
today's perspective, I think you will develop a very different understanding. Also, I think HasanAbi Archive is literally a bot channel and is
Damn.
oftentimes like puts insanely sometimes racist fucking um, racist photos in their thumbnail and
I
makes it seem like I
I
believe
haven't seen.
things.
I don't know about that. I just
No,
I
they were
like I
they.
watched YouTube
I
as I
remember
with my
there
phone
was
down.
one where I remember
Fucking
there was one where
fundamentalist.
like he fucking put me making it seem like I believe that Haitians were eating cats and dogs because I still remember that. But it's
That's
a bot
fucking
channel. I have no
insane.
control over it. Um.
Oh,
Anyway,
I
but yeah,
didn't
here
know that. Well,
the one that you
Hasnabi
can
reactions, Hasnabi.
yeah.
Sorry, I could. There's a bunch of Hasnabi
Well,
channels. I
regardless,
can't remember them all.
there's a lot of hot topic fan channels. My point is, listen to the conversation that I had with Ofer Kasif early on. You can listen to the conversation that I had with conscientious objectors of the IDF that were arrested and went to prison, got out of prison. Um, and the other one is I suggest listen to the conversation that I had with Ethan himself and see if your opinion has changed, or see the way I conduct those conversations at that time, and maybe that'll change your mind.
Thanks for the starting point. I'm still gonna rag on you for calling you the CEO of socialism and you fucking up that last debate you had with Ethan.
I'm not
Sorry,
the CEO of socialism.
you are the CEO of socialism.
I'm not. I don't think that. Okay. Well, all right.
All right. Thanks, man. I appreciate the time.
All
But
right. No problem. Have a
yeah,
good one. Bye.
you too. Bye.
Your coverage always ages better with time. Like right now, I'm only on board with the Houthis as a resistance group, but I wouldn't say what you did with Nick. Maybe when I read more about it. I think there are Zionists who feel there is a way they can support Israel and Palestinians, or at least they could be in denial about how those may be dialectics, but maybe that is really possible. The one state solution withholds Israeli leadership accountable for war crimes. I feel like simply asked this dude a very simple question and wrapped his garbanzo up. Does he think that Israel is committing a genocide in the Gaza Strip? Yes, he does. He does think that. He said so. Anyway, I'm surprised because I feel like you were harsher on Israel now than before, Law. I mean, yeah, I've always been harsh on the Israeli apartheid. Yes. You are so consistent in your coverage that sometimes when I go back and watch old vids, the only way to differentiate is what when it happened is your hair. Yes. Bro, serious question. How do you talk to people in the West when their normative position is that brown people aren't human? It feels so draining. Like to him, brown people are purely evil, but Israeli just innocently tricked into being bad. I don't think that many people in the West recognize that that is their starting point. But I recognize that that is the starting point of many people in the Western world, which is why I have to be as patient as I possibly can be to walk them through the steps, just like I did with Asmongold. Can you touch on the Nick thing? Could give a fuck about the Houthi kid at this point, but the other one is still like grimacing emoji to me. Yes, of course. I have shown the funniest thing about the Houthi videos that I showed Nick, which is, you know, I used to fucking show the musical workings of the Lion of Syria, Bashar al-Assad as well, including but not limited to thank you USA, you are my best friend. Again, all sides of every conflict in general, in a humorous capacity. But in terms of like, if I'm going to be serious about this for a second, because a lot of people go, you show terrorism propaganda videos. That video from the Houthis is directly a video about them resisting against the Saudi genocide. Like when you slap that when you slap like terrorism as a sticker onto it, that is what's fucking nutty about it. It's like those people saying, no, keep sending your bombs. It does not matter. We do not care. Okay? Now imagine, why do you not feel this way about the IRA videos? I used to play black and tans at the top of every hour. The IRA is a designated terror group. Is it because one, the IRA is not Muslim, and two, it is a anti-colonial resistance group that saw some success? Is that the reason why there is a different association with that? It could be multiple different things. Now, having said that, as far as like the music video of the Houthis, like we're like, oh, these guys are fucking terrorists. They're like giant pieces of shit. They're brown. They're terrorists. They're brown. They're terrorists. That's a video that they made, once again, during their resistance to the Saudi occupation and genocide. To me, sure, there's a political designation that comes along with terrorism. Okay. And that designation exists for the IRA, as well as every other group, as well as Ho Chi Minh. So what is it? I show you shitty music that the fucking IDF puts, yeah, I mean, if the IDF, if I had access to the IDF musical theater that Benjamin Shapiro was putting together, I would watch that shit on stream too. But the song that I showed was specifically about the Saudi genocide. It mentions Mohammed bin Salman by name, and it is nothing to do with like anti-Semitism or anything that the Houthis may believe. Nick is a normie. He's ignorant about the Middle East. I don't think he has bad intentions. Wait, what? No. Nick's perception of that entire day is not what people online have clipped out of context. What are you guys talking about? Nick is my friend. What the fuck? I've been working in Honor on the IT side for years and never had interest about the situation until I saw your video with Nick where you summarized the situation. Just know that they're impartial. And about the false accusations about the relationship with Hamas, can you share your thoughts or link a video where you talk about it? What do you mean? Yeah, Nick didn't give a fuck about any of that. What are you guys talking about? Yes, but if you read Reddit comments, you'd think you tried to recruit Nick to Hamas. Yes, of course. If there is Reddit, I think at this point we know is very susceptible to brigading. That's number one. Number two, most of the people that conduct said brigading are not human beings who have normal friends in the real world. They are on the outside trying to fucking make sense, or sometimes not even make sense, but propagandize things that may or may not have happened. I am one of the parties that they are talking about. Why would you not go to the primary source and instead think about people that are incredibly far removed from the subject matter with a biased perspective and how they perceived two people interacting with one another? I will never understand that.